Everyone's investment approach varies based on personal strategy or preference. Some may not invest due to fear, leading to a lack of courage and absence of market participation without the required knowledge. Whether it's stocks, ETFs, commodities, or more recently, the very significant topic of digital assets, of which cryptocurrencies are just one example. But how do I manage these digital assets? What should I ultimately pay attention to in order to avoid mistakes? And what about the terms crypto on one hand and blockchain on the other? Our guest today on Economy TV is Stefan Lumpp from Black Forest Digital Assets. Yes, Mr. Lumpp, crypto still remains somewhat of a contentious issue when you examine it. We have someone who has just passed away at nearly 100 years old. Charlie Munger, yes, the great counterpart of Warren Buffett. He told him, no, that's the devil's work.
This only serves to conduct illicit business.
Arms deals, prostitution and such, what's all that about? Empirical studies have demonstrated that the rate is relatively low, as when compared to the dollar, over 3 times as many illicit activities are carried out using dollars. This is a significant fact.
Of course, we are talking about Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, renowned value investors, not just legends in the fossil fuel industry, but successful ones.
It would be incorrect to draw comparisons between us and them. They are recognized for their stable value investments, and digital assets represent novel technologies. Warren Buffett, notably, does not concentrate so much on technology, but rather on proven, undervalued companies with significant growth potential. What about Bitcoin? It's a new asset, but it already exists. The white paper was published during the Lehman bankruptcy for the first time. And who was behind it? The renowned Satoshi Nakamoto. For this reason, it is indeed true that Bitcoin has not yet reached the mainstream. But now, as we mentioned in the preliminary discussion, gold is above $2,000, the DAX is above 16,600 points, and the euro is stable above 120. People are discussing him again. And I dare say that even the Bild newspaper was enthusiastic about this digital gold the day before yesterday. I should really consider exiting the market now. As a private investor, I also have to scrutinize this very skeptically and form my own opinion and thoughts about it. Clearly, yes. The value of Bitcoin remained stable for a long period at around 27,000. Then the breakout above 30 at 31.5, which of course generated a technical chart signal and also good news. The point is that an ETF is set to be launched in the United States soon, and this will likely give a significant boost. And then in April of next year, the halving will occur. You know that Bitcoin tends to perform well both before and after the halving. How far could this go up? Or are you adhering to your theory of possibly taking some money with you and cashing it in? I adhere to my principle of cashing out when I am personally in profit. Because no one has ever actually become poor from withdrawing profits. The truth is, neither of us knows where it's going. The reality is that the cryptocurrency market is a novel technology, and there is still such a small amount of total capital involved that even high finance, which holds a significant amount of Bitcoin, could potentially drive prices down through selling. Hence, caution is crucial when discussing technical topics that may seem as intricate as rocket science to some. I empathize with customers who believe, if I can't comprehend it, I don't want it. This implies that we might actually need a few more years for widespread adoption. This is also beneficial for us. We are naturally bullish in the long term. Just the day before yesterday, I read that Bloomberg is predicting a value of 500,000 for Bitcoin. As I mentioned, I tend to distance myself when the atmosphere becomes too euphoric for my liking. We continue to stay alert. However, we are well aware of the numerous benefits that digital assets offer. This knowledge gives us great confidence in the future. Digital assets. You said it, it's very technical. And when we discuss cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, one term that consistently emerges is blockchain. And many people don't even know. How can they even imagine that? What is happening in this blockchain? It's big, and it's actually quite a thrill. That's why I thought it was so fantastic when I got my first Bitcoin at 200 ADRs in October 2015. Think of the blockchain as a series of linked blocks. What comes after that? And the chain in the block is like a digital ledger where every single transaction is stored in this blockchain. We're talking about open source code, particularly open source. It's vital to understand that we're discussing transparency back to the Genesis block, the first block when Bitcoin was initiated on January 3rd, 2009.
And that's the thrilling aspect of introducing transparency to the market, which is our mission.
This clarity is also crucial, as we mustn't forget that Bitcoin is the most recognized asset in this field. Yet, there are significantly more than just 10,000 cryptos, somewhere between 20,000 to 25,000, inclusive of Dash, Ethereum, and all the others. As an investor, how can I gain an overview if I am interested? Very difficult indeed.
In situations where significant profits can be made quickly, not only good players are involved, but also many bad ones. Hence, as an individual investor, I need to be very careful. I need to rely on experts to some extent, need a guide, and perhaps a comprehensive course to grasp the whole topic. Because, as you correctly mentioned,
yes, in my opinion, Ethereum also has the potential to surpass Bitcoin, possibly even from its current level in the future, because there are simply so many possibilities with smart contracts. There are so many things to consider. For instance, Bitcoin, out of the 21 million that will eventually be available, 19.5 million have already been mined. But that is only the case after many occurrences over 100 years. In other words, everything is in place, and now we need to raise people's awareness. If I know that there are approximately 55 millionaires in the world, and there is a number of unaccounted cases, that's between 20 and 30% of all Bitcoins that have already vanished, lost forever, because I no longer have these keys. These Bitcoins in the wallets, I understand that there are only about 13 million Bitcoins available worldwide, and that's it. That's what makes this technology so remarkable. You can't simply reprint Bitcoins or multiply them just because when mass adoption occurs, we will see entirely different prices, because never before, not even every millionaire in the world could own a Bitcoin. It's always a bit too much, isn't it? What I might fear is what Bitcoin enthusiasts naturally perceive as so-called freedom. The freedom to have an asset in my wallet that I can send anywhere in a matter of seconds. But of course, it must also be said that the major central banks, such as the Fed and the ECB, naturally want to closely monitor the flow of dollars and euros, right? And if they are ultimately opposed to the type of freedom that Bitcoin provides, we indeed have an issue with it. And we know that in countries like China, for example, trading in Bitcoin is banned.
Yes, I am.
Delve a little deeper there. What is intriguing is the following. 3 months after a so-called ban, specifically after a ban in China, Bitcoin has consistently risen by 54%. What I prohibit appeals to me, which is why I remain quite relaxed and natural about it. When I consider the benefits of blockchain technology and certain cryptocurrencies as an average intelligent individual, I realize that the higher financial authorities like central banks understand, oh wow, this crypto phenomenon could genuinely disrupt the banking sector. That's why there are detractors. There are varying interests at play. And you mentioned at the start about Charlie Munger, who refers to Bitcoin as the devil's work. It was indeed the current CEO of JP Morgan who, in a notably infamous interview in 2017, sent Bitcoin into a downward spiral with the statement, "Bitcoin is the devil's plaything, it's a scam, it's a bubble." Just 6 weeks later, it was revealed that JP Morgan's offshore companies had made significant investments in Bitcoin. If he were here on the regulated trading floor, he would be in jail. It's quite obvious to state that publicly, but hardly anyone discusses it. That's why I naturally support this thesis. There are always varying interests when it comes to freedom, money, and independence. It's better if you possess a kind heart, strong ethics, and a professional approach, and genuinely want to assist your clients, your network, in illuminating the darkness. Let's also explore the potential offered by these cryptocurrencies, such as fractionalization and tokenization. I can also invest in assets such as a luxury catamaran or a property in Dubai, for instance, even with small shares, and not needing to visit a notary. I don't need to know English. I don't need to perform any due diligence. I don't need to desire to emigrate. Yet I can still partake in such a value that was previously exclusive to millionaires. There are so many positive aspects that we simply relish greatly. I believe you can tell that I'm passionate about this topic. Observe the passion, which is also positive. However, it must be noted that we previously had the concept of NVT, the non-initial token, which has somewhat resurfaced, though we don't hear much about it anymore. Is the matter settled, or what do you think will happen next? To be honest, we have a specialist for NFTs. He loves it because, unlike Bitcoin, a non-fungible token is not transferable multiple times but is unique. Therefore, it appeals to artists and forward-thinking individuals. Our chief analyst is fond of NFTs. I'm from the gaming industry, and NFTs are somewhat unrelated to it. I'm more interested in the actual values and the technologies as well as the opportunities they present. The translation is currently 100% accurate. However, the metaverse, for instance, is no longer the latest buzzword. Now it's all the rage. AI, artificial intelligence is everywhere. I recently traveled to Silicon Valley, and it's astounding how the world is embracing this trend right now. And that's how it functions in the economy as well. We always have trends. And yes, NVDs are likely making a comeback. One reason is their substantial use case. If they have a use case, they're valuable. But I need more, like a large community. I also need skilled core developers involved. Then I need competent designers. So the overall package at NVT has to be correct, and I'm always against one thing. I am against hype things. This simply means observing the market but being 100% in agreement. What does the ideal portfolio for Stefan Lumpp look like? What should it contain? Now you've said the right thing. Stefan Lumpp, and this is not investment advice. No.
That's why I naturally invest a bit more in crypto than an average person does now.
As a financial consultant, I'd recommend a 1:10 ratio for portfolio diversification. We do invest significantly in physical gold, along with silver and investment-grade diamonds. The benefit is that these assets can be globally circulated within minutes. In other words, we purchase these tangible assets with digital currencies, and that works well for me. These assets are stored, and they're not just paper. They're not a certificate that could potentially lose all value tomorrow. Stefan Lumpp asked in the end, do you also have 1 or 2 stocks in your portfolio?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, I was here many years ago. I also once took a trading course in London. I love the stock market, but I haven't loved the economy since Financial Times Deutschland exited the market. For me, my interest shifted towards digital currencies in 2015. However, I do own a few stocks, but I'm not going to share my stock tips today. We'll tackle that later. But for now, we've already touched on the subject of cryptocurrency. We were a bit scared, I think. Whether I'm managing a stock, an ETF, or a fund, I need to stay informed about topics related to crypto assets or digital assets. That was Stefan Lumpp from Black Forest Digital Assets discussing the significant topic of cryptocurrencies and, of course, Bitcoin.
That was with Knauff here at wirtschaft.tv from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange.